Good afternoon, everybody, and a happy Sunday to you. I hope you're all well. And I've got for you my full review on the Chris Reeve Knives small Sebenza 31 in S35 VN, which has been Rockwell to 5960. Absolutely perfect. Um, can you go harder in Rockwell? Yeah, you can. Do you need to? Absolutely not. And this is sort of like I sharpen a lot of knives, and I have done over the time, and you can feel hardness when you're sharpening. You can feel what a steel is like when you're sharpening. Doesn't always to work out how it's whether it's going to be chipping on, but you can feel that a steel has been Rockwelled well when you're sharpening, because simply it just takes longer to do to get the blade to wear down. So I'll discuss that again. I've had a Chris Reeve before. I had the Incosi, which is millimeters smaller than this. I had to sell it for whatever reason. I had to sell it, and I missed it from the second I done it. Now it was millimeters smaller than this. This one to me is the perfect knife in size, handle. Everything about this hits my perfectionist sort of knife collector, and I'm not a perfectionist knife collector. I can put up with certain things in certain knives, and I think everybody has something they can let away with, or accept because the knife itself is worth it. This is one of them knives. It's just a dream. It is what I would call a grail knife for most people. uh yes, there's lots of higher end people out there, and I love higher end knives, love looking at them, but these are an expensive knife to buy. But do you get your money's worth? Well, let's go through it and see at the very end if I think it's worth the money. It is. The blade length is 3 inches. The handle is 4 inches. That's my perfect size. That is my perfect size. As long as the back end is done in a certain way where it's rounded over, that you can squeeze your finger on if it's just a little bit tight getting them on. If you want to open your fingers up, you've got somewhere like this rounded butt here to put your finger. And that, like, this is a pocket knife, but this is a pocket knife that can work if called into action. All Chris Reeves knives are working knives. They are made to work. They're made beautifully. They're made in high-end materials, but they're not always the high-end blade states. Although they've started now doing the Maximum, or not Maximum, the I forgot the name of that other one. It's gone out of my head. I cannot get that into my head. Anyway, Chris Reeves makes his knife with a blade steel that is perfect for working. He helped design the steel. It's S35 VN. He was in the process designing that steel, and he wanted to use it in all his knives, and he has done for years. And yeah, he used to Rockwell them a wee bit softer. Then he got complaints. Everybody started complaining that's too soft. I didn't agree with that, because if the steel's a little bit softer, it makes it easier to sharpen for the average Joe. And that's it. Because not everybody can sharpen well. There's a lot of people just get by sharpening. So, but anyway, 5960 is perfect to me. It's perfect. The looks of this knife, just look at it. It is absolutely fantastic. The box elder on here has the most beautiful grain. It's milky. It's just like cream. It's just like cream floating on the top of it. It is delicious. Delicious. And it feels the touch. It's been so well hafted. It's smooth. There's no ends that are sticking out. The wood is completely smooth. Beautiful. The blade shape, that drop point is just a stunning, stunning thing. The drop point on a Chris Reeve knife. Look at that. You've got the center of the blade is lined up with the center of the knife, which gives you real lovely movement, and you're in control of where the blade is, where the tip is. I love that. You only get one thumb stud, but it's a right-handed knife. They make a left-handed one if you want that. Fair play. Can't argue with that. If they're going to make a left-hand version, well, now that's all right. Go ahead. They're very hard to get at the minute. Chris Reeve knives, his capacity has been pushed to the limit with COVID and trying to catch up. So they are difficult to get. So I was over the moon when I got this. I got this from Carl Pearson. It's our friend who designs the Who Knives, the CEO of Who Knives. Get over and check him out at the minute. I think he's about 30% off the V2. And you've also taken names for the V3, which will be coming. So get him on, check him out on Instagram, and you can get to everywhere where he sells from Instagram. But Who Knives, HOO. And I've one of his knives here, and I'm not going to do a comparison with because I've already done that, and I don't want to do it again. But really nice option if you can't afford this sort of a knife. And I can't tell. This has got this new finish. He has the shiny titanium on the front and on the back, although the clip and the bolster or the frame lock is that tumbled titanium, stonewashed titanium, and it is all around the bottom here, and the chamfering is even the stonewashed all the way around the knife, and it makes this shiny titanium just stand out, and I love it. I really love it. With these bigger bolsters, you don't get to see as many snail trails. Not that they were a problem. Have you seen my old in Cosi was just a mess of snail trails because it was used, and that's what a knife's supposed to be. This will get every bit as much use because, again, these are meant for working. That's what they are, a working knife. It's got a hollow grind. It's about 3mm thick up here. It comes down to a fairly thin edge. Not super thin, not Jack Wolf knives thin, but it's thin enough for working. It was probably at about anywhere between 20 and 23. I don't know what it was. I didn't measure it. But I've taken this one down to a 15-degree edge, which I'll come back to because a lot of people have said, oh, that's too steep. That's not nice. And they didn't like the way I'd done my... I thought I'd done a really lovely job. And somebody said I had messed up the grind at a double bevel and all. So, well, I don't know. It cuts blooming well for me. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. I love it. So you've about 3mm in the back here. It's 1/2 inch across exactly on either side, and that's on the wood, not just the titanium scale. So it's the perfect size. I mean, everything about this says perfect. But there is some things that I maybe don't like, or not that I don't like. I bought this knife knowing the back looked like this. They canted this over towards the center, but to be honest with you, it doesn't go far enough. It really needs to go up and touch on there, because when you touch the edge of this, it does bend down, and it makes that droppy thing, right? Let me just show you. This knife now drops. It'll actually drop free if I get my hands away. I try to do this. It's so difficult in the last video. There, it drops. I mean, it wouldn't have done that a couple of weeks ago, but I've used it so much. I fiddled with it so much. I still like to open a Chris Reeve like this and close it like this. Can I open it? I can open it now with a thumb stud, which I couldn't a couple of weeks ago. Still needs that tiny wee bit of wrist, but it's getting better and better. I didn't adjust it at all. I have taken it apart, but I tightened it up fully, and it's sitting there fully. But this is what I like about a Chris Reeve. I sit at night just opening and doing this. That action is just super. There's no wiggle, there's no nothing, there's no juttering. It is just perfect because you got these huge big washers inside here. There is no, and I genuinely mean no, movement in this knife when you try to do it. That jimping is some of the best jimping that I've had on any knife. Spyderco are good for their jimping. It's that class, but it just sits perfectly in my hand. I don't get down this far very often with a knife. I'd rather hold a knife like this, or if I'm going to want to be down there, I'll be in a pinch grip and use it like that. So that's not this sort of a grip I don't use. If I'm cutting, if that's where I'm going to sit most of the time. It's got Idaho built on here. But what I would love is a bolster lock where you had the same thing on the back. Yeah, so that it covers up most of that. You can put your fingers on it and you're not going to adjust this. I would love that full bolster lock. But there's a reason why Chris Reeves doesn't do that, because this is the Chris Reeves integral lock. He invented this lock and then gave it to the world, and we ran with it. And I think, yeah, it's lovely. I'm not a great fan of these type of locks because it really depends on where you put your fingers on how easy they are to manipulate. Again, a Chris Reeves is not a fun knife. It's not a knife that you want to necessarily play with. I love doing that. I actually do like doing that. You know, when I'm bringing a knife out, it's nice to do that. But it's just equally as nice. And I've got my Sebenza thumb now. I don't feel the point on this anymore. And it just opens up beautifully. There's a pleasure in doing that with a Chris Reeve. And it's the only knife I've had that has that pleasure every single time I open it or close it. I get pleasure out of doing it. In the hand, this clip is fantastic. In the pocket, this clip is fantastic. So I knew I had no worries because I've had the Incosi, but this is just literally millimeters longer. And this, with this grip, I would take on anything with it. And I say this isn't a super hollow grind. Now, the Chris Reeve knife was never really a cardboard muncher. It was a thin grind behind the edge, and for cutting your meal and maybe even doing a bit of kitchen tasks, it was good enough. Do you know what I mean? But with a 3mm and then that hollow grind, the saber pattern there, it was dodgy. Look, since I put this 15-degree edge on this, right, this has gone through cardboard. I wasn't able to go through cardboard. I got a sticky bit of cardboard there. I wasn't able to do this as nice before. This is just going through cardboard. It melts through it. Absolutely melts. And somebody said in the comments, yeah, but your knife, excuse me to get a wee bit of paper. I've got receipt paper I use behind here for cutting. Somebody said, a couple of cuts and you'll not be able to, it'll take the sharpness off it. Let me tell you, I've been playing with cardboard for about an hour in here and doing cuts and playing with and just to see what it was like. It is just razor sharp after that. So don't be worried about the 15-degree being too delicate, because it is definitely not too delicate whatsoever. I think it's going to be great. It was another YouTuber, the young girl over in America now that has all the dogs. Can't think of her name of her channel now. Not your average EDC. She was doing it on her knives. She took hers down to 15 degrees and said it made a huge difference. I was a bit dubious, but I just thought, while this is a nice new knife, I'll give it a go. And if that's it, I can just keep it there, because I reprofile usually just once. And I very rarely, because I don't get to use my nails that much, I'll probably not have to reprofile it again. I'll have to sharpen it, but sharpening could mean just putting it on a ceramic stone and then, or maybe 1,000 grit stone, and then stropping. That's really, after I've got that edge, I just wanted that edge to be the same all the way up. Now, it came from Chris Reeves, really good, but that edge to me is lovely now. From top to bottom, it is all the same. Just beautiful. I love it. So I thought, well, she's given it a go and she's been using it, and I thought, well, let's go with her word and see what it's like. And so far, I'll have to say she's definitely proved it right. It is an amazing slicer. I really do enjoy that. But I'll keep you updated on how it is. It was this Rockwell of 5960 that Chris Reeve has put on this now is up from the older models. It took a good bit of work to get it sharpened. To reprofile this, I was about 2 hours spent on this, and I didn't go. Look, that first profile, I started on 220 grit, and I wish I had started on 120 grit. But the 220 grit, I used it and I flopped the edge over a couple of times just to see what it was like getting rid of the burr, and it was fine. I then went down 400 and then 800, and then I used a ceramic stone and a strop. Now, you can still see some of the grind lines. I didn't spend a long time. Once I got my edge perfect, I just wanted to hone it and get it done. And that's what I normally do. I don't need it to be a polished edge for a knife that most people are not going to see, only me. But it's pretty good. It's very reflective, shall we say. Have we got anything here to... here we are. Let's just show you. It's quite reflective. I don't know whether you're going to see this or not. I haven't got the angle. Oh, there you go. You can't see it now, can you? I don't know whether you can see that or not. But it is. It's fairly reflective. And it's a good edge. It's like I have to prove that. It's perfect for me. Just take it. But in the pocket, again, it's a lovely carry. But to be honest with you, I've been carrying it in its sheath. It comes with a beautiful Chris Reeve sheath, which is not here at the minute. So organised that I am. But it's a lovely sheath and it fits in there. I've been putting it in with the pocket clip. But I'm thinking of getting a plate. The young lady had got that as well. I'm thinking of getting a plate and taking this off and just carrying it in a slip. Because that box elder, I would hate to damage it. It is so beautiful. It'll not stop me using it, don't get me wrong. But I think I would like to look after it. It's like a car. You don't want to scratch it. You don't want to bump it. It's exactly the same with this. It's a lot of money for a knife. And it's not going to stop me using it, but it's something I want to keep looking well. I just love it. Perfect knife for me. I love it. Let me just get this up on its end. And then I'm going to give you a couple of comparisons on blade size. I done one of my favourite little pocket knives is the Benchmade 945. Again, just a tiny bit smaller, but again, I love this as a pocket knife. I never thought you would need a smaller 940 until I got this. There's the 940, which is a bigger knife, but a lot of people have had one or seen one. It's a fair bit bigger, but lovely knife nonetheless. Here's one that everybody will know is the K-Bar Dozier. And it is just about the perfect, the same size blade, but the handle's a little bit longer. And this is a fantastic beater knife when you want to spread your hands out or you want to get a big fist on and give it some work. This is a beautiful knife for that. Pocket clips, it's all right. It's a bit pokey, but you can move your hands and I can get it in between these front two fingers. And when it's there, I can't feel it. So beautiful knife in D2, which I'm loving. Review of that coming up very shortly. And then my other really fancy pants logging knife, which is the Sherbakov small stitch in titanium M390. I love this knife. Very plain looking knife, but in the hand. It's the poor man's, I've forgotten the other name of that knife. I have no memory, sorry folks. I love this kind of clip, and I would love this kind of titanium pocket clip on the Chris Reeves. It's flat. It's got a little bit of detail to give it, to give it interest. It's thin here, so it will move, and there's enough ramp to get it in and out of the pocket. But in the hand, you don't feel any hard points. And that is what I think. That with the bolster lock would just be absolutely fantastic on a Chris Reeve. But again, I love that knife. It's bigger, but not that. They say a small stitch, but it's a full-size knife. It's a full-size knife. So there you are, some comparisons, some thoughts. I've talked about that, adjusting the angle to 15 degrees per side. So far, it's made such a difference. I can feel the difference straight away when I'm cutting anything. It is so nice. So I'm going to try that out and I'll get back to you and let you know what that is like after use and testing. But so far, absolutely no problem. It seems pretty stable. And again, these are things you can do and try on all your knives. And I think you'd get so much pleasure by doing and getting an edge. Justin has been using his, what is that, sharp tool, whatever that edge thing. Oh, my head, that's the work sharp. He got a work sharp as well. And he's using it and he's getting some fantastic edges on his knives. And that is just marvellous. And the pleasure he gets when he tells me that he's got one, to see his face is amazing. So, yeah, try doing different things with your knives. They're not just something to accept what's there, that's the best. Not always. For what you're going to do, if you're a light user, 15 degrees per side should be absolutely fine. It's only when you put torque on the edge on that edge where it's going to affect. But if you're just doing simple cutting, well, depending on the blade steel, if the blade steel's good, it's fine. And this seems to be good, and it seems to be fine. So I'm pleased with that. The box elder is one of my favourite woods, and I've now given myself a task of a grill knife, which I said I wasn't going to do, but I am. I really want the Umnundi in box elder to make this a pair. And oh my goodness, what a pair that would look like. And I know they do the Umnundi in the box elder. So that will be my grill. I don't care when I get it. There's no rush for it. When you've got that, I've no rush at all. But it's something now I'm going to, next time I maybe get a wee lump sum of money that I've nothing to do with, I can see that coming along. But anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Do I recommend this knife? If you can afford it, yes. It is a fantastic knife. If you're a fidgeter, is it a knife for you? Probably not. But as a working knife, as a beautiful knife, if you just want to keep this in your collection to take out and stroke, yeah, it's worth that too. So there we go. Thank you very much, Mr. Reeve, for putting this out in the public. I love this knife immensely. So take care, everybody. Paddy's away for a wee cup of tea, and I'll speak to you all probably on Monday. There's a video coming out tonight on the Knife Junkie podcast. I recorded one with him last night. I think it's coming out tonight, which is Sunday. And I'm doing a podcast on RJ's Knives tonight at 6:30 UK time. And I think me and Justin are going to do one on Monday night. But I'm not sure yet. But I think so. Anyway, you take care, everybody. All the very best. Bye-bye now.